Guys on the Mic. I am joined with Matt right below me and Mike. This week we're going to be going over, obviously, Week 3 recap of the NFL season. A lot of weird shit going on, you guys, in football, man. Some weird scores. A lot
history
of upset.
Made. History made, all that shit.
Yeah, definitely history made. Dude, I don't know. This shit's crazy. So let's just go ahead and let's touch on the Monday night games that just got done going on. We'll start with Philadelphia. DeAndre Swift having another monster game. What do you guys think? You guys think it was Detroit not using him right, or you think it's just Philadelphia can pretty much throw anyone behind that line and have success?
Combination of both.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I think Detroit didn't utilize DeAndre Swift to his full ability. I mean, coming out of college in Georgia, he was a workhorse. And Detroit, I guess they didn't see him as that. He was a third down back. Here, I mean, a lot of the running backs in Philly, they do go off, but I just think this guy has 3-down potential, and he's showing it.
Yeah, and finally the defense showed up. They hadn't showed up all year. They finally this week. I don't know. Maybe Philadelphia is starting to get over the Super Bowl hangover that they seem to have the first couple of weeks, and they're starting to look like the Eagles of last year. So Tampa Bay, 11 points, nothing special. Didn't expect them to win this game. I don't think really anyone expected to win this game. But I did expect it to be a little bit more competitive than what it was.
Yeah, and Philly turned them over. Their first turnovers of the season. That's what kind of killed them.
Swift's health is going to be a determining factor too, because he was banged up and injured quite a bit when he was with Detroit. One thing though that I think is going to help with him in Philadelphia with staying healthy is they're splitting the carries between him and Gainwell. He had 16 and Gainwell had 14.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see those games from him where he's going to get 25, almost 30 touches.
And one little side note, I think it could be in Philadelphia is that natural grass. Detroit is that turf. So, I mean, it could have taken a toll on his body just like it did Calvin Johnson. And now he's on this natural surface. So hopefully he stays healthy. Be nice to see.
Yeah. So next game, man, we got the Rams and Cincinnati. I actually expected the Rams to win this game. I actually picked them to win when we went over the picks of the week. It was competitive 19-16. So field goals all during the first half. A couple touchdowns.
Kind of a boring first half. Nobody really did much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's sorry. Did you guys hear that noise right now in the background?
No.
Dude, did you shit yourself or what?
No. My cat just knocked over a bunch of dishes right now in the kitchen. I can't believe you guys didn't hear that. But the Rams, I don't know. They're being way more competitive than what everyone thought. I mean, I really thought they were going to be a bottom barrel team. They're competing, but I'm actually a little bit. Good thing for the Rams. I think they're going to be playing for some things this year. But Cincinnati, I am really worried about Cincinnati. I mean, if they had started the season 0-3, I think that would have been done. I don't know if it's Burrow. I don't know if it's offensive line. I don't know what it is, but they do not look like the Cincinnati of the last few years. And I don't know. I'm worried if I'm a Bengals fan right now. I'm worried if I'm a Cincinnati player too. What do you guys think?
Burrow's health a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see it in his throws still. I mean, he was questionable all week, classified as a game time decision, and even his throws, he doesn't have that zip on the ball. So it's allowing the defenders to be able to make a play because the ball's coming in slower, and he's not as accurate.
Yeah, they did get Jamar Chase involved, 12 for 141. So that was a good sighting from them.
Yeah, which they desperately have needed to do because he was pretty much ghosted the first 2 weeks. But like we said prior, I think it was last week. I mean, they were playing bump and run on him the whole time. What was 85% bump and run, double team, whatever they came out of the game. And I still think that's what you have to do. I think if you take Chase out of the game, I really think it really puts a damper on that Cincinnati offense. I'm not saying T. Higgins isn't capable, but if you really make them into a one-trick pony as far as who he can throw to, then I don't know. I just think that Cincinnati is not as dangerous as they could be.
Yeah.
And if they continue to play Burrow, I mean, he's one sack away from trying to push off with that leg and get away and fully pulling it. I really think they should have sat him the first 2 weeks. And I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, they lost anyways. You know what I mean? So if they had rested him, perhaps he would be better. Now he's going to continue to be hurt. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But anyway, Cincinnati 16, Cincinnati 19, Rams 16. So next we got Detroit and Atlanta. Not really much to say about here. Atlanta didn't show up. Detroit did. They took care of business at home. I don't think there's much really to talk about.
Bijan was non-existent this game.
Yeah.
Complete opposite of last week.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. You know, the problem is that Ritter is not good enough for people to not be able to stack the box. You know what I mean? I think Ritter is gonna be ultimately the downfall of what this offense really could be. And until he gets going, I just see people probably starting to really stack the box and going after that run game. Because if they take away the run game, that Atlanta offense is not going to do shit. I mean, that's bottom line.
I saw a lot of this game. I think I saw like the first 2 quarters, good chunk of it. Just like I was telling Scott a while back, that if you stop the run on Atlanta, it's now you're gonna make Ritter throw, and that's not his strong suit. We all know that. He's not going to be able to stand in that pocket and complete 30 plus passes. And he has the weapons to do it, but he's so inaccurate. He has Kyle Pitts open up the seam a lot, and he misses a lot of throws. And Bijan, just like Scott says, is going to have days like this, and it's going to be a down day, but he will bounce back from it, I think.
Yeah. So Detroit 20, Atlanta 6.
I really think Detroit found their replacement though for Hawkinson with Laporta.
Laporta looks really good.
Dude, he does. Yeah, he really does. But anyways, Buffalo beat the shit out of Washington 37 to 3. And what's funny about that is that's not even the biggest ass beating of the week, not even close.
Yeah.
No. Buffalo came to play, and I mean
that's pretty much it, man. I mean, you can't. James Cook, good day at the office. Stephon Diggs, he went over the century mark. Josh Allen, I mean, he had 218 and 1, but I think they had a few defensive touchdowns to start them off, and they went from there. So
yeah, Matt's boy Sam Howell, 4 interceptions.
Oh, yeah, he didn't look too good. That call might be a little off. I mean, we all miss some calls, but man, he does not look good right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Buffalo 37.
I want to get the Miami highlights here.
Yeah, here we go. Dude,
How's your former ball boy going to drop 70 on you?
It wasn't that. How are you going to have a guy who hasn't even touched the football really in A-chain?
Yeah.
Dude.
They ran. Not even just him. Mostert ran all over them.
Yeah.
What that's going on in Denver? I mean, they have
absolutely nothing from the looks of it.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that they have the talent to win. They have a pretty decent wide receiver core. I mean, I know Javonte isn't going to run the ball like he should until he really comes back from that injury. Russell Wilson hasn't been like absolutely terrible, but that defense was supposed to be elite, and they have been anything but elite. I mean, running the ball down their throat, having no problems even just passing all over them. I don't know if players have just given up that are playing there. I don't know what it is, but I mean, to get beat by 50 points in an NFL game is pretty much unheard of. I mean,
I think to touch on that, I think Russell Wilson's wearing down the locker room. I read a few things saying that.
I was going to ask if there's something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that he's wearing down the locker room, and he came in last year. He wanted that front office position, not front office, just metaphorically. Like, I want to be the guy. I'm here to turn it around, and it hasn't happened. And I think it's rubbing guys the wrong way, and they're just. I don't think he has that locker room as far as a quarterback to lead that franchise. So
yeah. Well, what do you guys? Can they get out of that contract after this year?
No, they have 4 years.
Oh, they can if they want to eat.
They're going to eat $85, $90 million this year or next year or something like that. They can't. It's impossible. I think for the next 3 years. I think in 2027 or something like that. It's like a dead cap of like 20 something million.
Well,
that's where you realistically can get out of
that. Denver, I guess, better get used to it. And what sucks is I think all three of us picked them to be, turn it around. New coach. I thought it was gonna be a new atmosphere, but I guess it hasn't been the coaching. It's clearly something going on, and I think Matt, you might be right with Russell Wilson rubbing people the wrong way, because that was, after he got traded, a lot of people came out and said the same thing about, the Seahawks. It was the same thing. Just people were like, dude, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're
350 rushing yards for Miami.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
And they dropped more. That 70 points that they scored was more points than Denver has scored all season.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Game of the week next week. We really don't have to touch on the Dolphins offense. They're phenomenal. But this week they're playing
3 incompletions the whole game for Tua.
All right, you guys. Next week, who do you guys have? It's Miami.
I got Miami.
Buffalo. It's in Buffalo.
Miami.
Miami.
You guys don't think that defense of Buffalo can stop them?
No. Not if they're running the ball like this, no.
Mind you, Miami did this without Waddle.
Yeah. So even if they stuff the run, you're going to be able to cover Waddle and Tyreek?
You're not going to stop Tyreek. It's just the bottom line.
You're not.
If they're gonna run the ball like this, they're gonna beat the Bills pretty handily, I think, by 10 points for sure.
All right, moving on to the next game. Talk about another just disappointing team. Houston 7, Jacksonville 17. What the hell? Jacksonville was supposed to be that team, supposed to take the step forward. I mean, pretty much anyone you talk to had Jacksonville winning the division. I don't know what the hell is going on, man. It's just another thing where it's just you look at a team and they're showing that they're ready to take that step forward, and all of a sudden it's like they get scared and they take 3 steps back and say, "Never mind, I'm ready to be that." I'm
looking right now. Calvin Ridley's target percentage week 1 was 28%. Week 2 it went down to 17%. This week was 10%.
Yeah, and you see, you got to get your playmakers involved. That you just have to, and on top of that, this defense they've been pretty bad. They pretty much teams outside like Kansas City, they didn't do too much against them, but I don't think this defense is gonna be able to hold them down for them to win a lot of games if they're gonna continue to do this.
Yeah.
So, but
that offense definitely should be putting up more than 17 points though.
Yeah. Before we touch on dude. Houston has a bright future. Stroud looks like he's the truth. With Tank Dell as a rookie, with Nico Collins there, he got some weapons. I mean,
they're young. Their offensive core is young.
Yeah. I mean, Pierce came to play too. About time. So Houston 37, Jacksonville 17. And now this was a good game. This was a nice comeback. Colts 22, Baltimore 19. They won that in overtime. Cincinnati's lucky that, Baltimore hasn't tried to run away with the division. So Baltimore's letting them hang around now with this loss. I didn't see this coming. I really had Baltimore winning. And Indy now, they're going to have a chance to make some noise because it looks like they're probably going to be getting Jonathan Taylor back after this next week. And he's going to give that offense a real nice, even though they've been running the ball great, it's still not, Taylor's still going to bring, that X factor in. And I think Indy might end up being the surprise team out there.
Little dark horse.
Yeah, most definitely.
If Anthony Richardson can stay healthy.
Well, they won with Minshew.
Oh yeah, I think Minshew honestly should be. The Jets should make a call on that guy. He looks good. I mean,
I was gonna wait till we got to the Jets to talk about that.
Well, yeah, we could wait. We could talk about that, but okay. Yeah, no, he looks good. Looks really good.
Yeah.
Surprising. And the only disappointment from Baltimore is this Todd Monken offense is not. This high-powered, high-flying offense through the air is not. It's not looking like. It's not happening. No, it's not. No passing touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. 202 yards passing. He did go off running though, so I mean he went 14 for 101 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. But
yep,
yeah. So,
and Justin Tucker missed that. What was it, 61-yard field goal?
61, yeah.
Short. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
Not out of him, but yeah. So this was a game that I was real interested in watching, and that was the Chargers of Minnesota.
Oh,
Minnesota now 0-3, and not only are they 0-3, but this is something we talked about, during the preseason, was how lucky Minnesota was last year in one score
Yep.
game. Or was it 9-1, 8-1?
11-0 last year.
No,
Yes, it was. I vetted it last year. It was 11-0.
I thought it was like 8-1 or something like that.
Either way, 11,
Double check.
8-1, 9-1,
Triple check.
11-0. Either way, it's ridiculous.
Either way,
But all three of their losses have been by one possession.
Yep, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, the luck they had last year was unheard of, and now the luck is not there anymore. And I don't know. I just don't see Minnesota. None of us picked them to have a winning record. None of us.
11-0.
Holy shit, dude! You see,
13. They're 0-3 with a combined -13.
Yeah.
It's good for fantasy, though. I'll tell you that much. Whoever plays them, they're going to be throwing the shit out of the ball against them, and I like it.
And so you can pretty much kiss Kirk Cousins by after this season.
Yeah.
Jefferson, if they continue this, Jefferson's going to want out. He's already frustrated.
Yeah. But he is on pace for 2,200 receiving yards right now.
Doesn't surprise me because they're going to.
Yeah, I saw something that said Kirk Cousins was on pace, and this was after last week. I know it's only 2 weeks. But Kirk Cousins was on pace for like 6,000 yards, Jefferson for almost 3,000 yards or something stupid, and yet they were 0-2.
And they're a funnel defense. You could run on them, you could pass on them, you could do whatever the hell you want to Minnesota's defense. So
not if your name is Josh Kelly. You can't do that.
Yeah, that is true, but
11 carries for 12 yards.
We don't bring that guy up.
I don't
even know.
He went for 91 yards week 1, and Eckler went down. I was like, well, they probably won't even miss a beat with the way Kelly does. Yeah. Obviously, he shits the bed against Baltimore, which, you didn't expect much out of him. But Minnesota's defense is not good. And the fact that he went 11 for 12, the Chargers really need Eckler to get right. In fact, but they do have the Raiders next week. But the Raiders do play the Chargers very, very tough. Those are always really good games. So, we'll see how that pans out, but the Chargers cannot afford to lose next week against
division
Raiders. They definitely can.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, it would drop them to 1-3.
Yeah, and Minnesota, I don't know. I'm thinking if they keep going this way, man, they may only win like 4 or 5 games.
And the touch.
Somebody's gonna get their first win next week, either Minnesota or the Panthers.
Probably Minnesota.
Yeah. And Mike Williams confirmed this morning, 20 ACL.
ACL.
Yeah, so Keenan Allen looked phenomenal, though.
I was going to say Keenan Allen, 18, right? 18 receptions?
215, yeah. And a passing touchdown for like 49 yards.
Yeah, that's insane, man. That's good for him. He's been having a monster.
Herbert had a very solid game, too. 405-3.
But again, it's against the Vikings defense, so you kind of have to just be like, okay, we're going to need to see this against other defenses outside the Vikings. But enough about them.
But when you got nobody that can run the ball either, you have no choice but to pass.
Yeah. New England 15, Jets 10. I had the Jets winning this game. I thought maybe, okay, against Dallas it's not going to happen. But, man, that's it. If the Jets do not do something about this quarterback situation, they are fucked. They are wasting so much good talent on this team. Zach Wilson is not the answer. He wasn't the answer last year. He's not going to be the answer this year. He's not going to be the answer in the future. Like, Matt, what you said, Minshew, we had talked about that last week. Minshew, if I am the Jets, I am calling the Colts and being like, dude, what's it going to take? Now, it's probably going to take a little bit for them because Richard going down. Yeah. But, at this point, you have a defense that's ready to, that can carry you. And if you have just a quarterback that just can get the job done, you'll be okay. I mean, what Wilson had, 46 yards passing in the first half?
It was embarrassing. It was bad. This game was horrible. It was bad.
And I don't know why Saleh is so obsessed with being so quick to be like, yeah, Zach Wilson is our starter.
Yeah, adamant for him to stay the starter. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers telling him that he sees something or just to give him time. or whatever it is. But man, if I'm a wide receiver, I'm on the offense or whatever, I am like,
Yeah.
I'm pissed right now. It's really unfortunate because there was a lot of hype around the Jets, and there should be. They have a really good roster.
Or even at worst, Andy Dalton. I mean, he looked good in Carolina. I mean, so there's a lot of veteran backups out there that they should make the call for, and
they need to figure out the run game too.
Well, I mean, you can't figure it out
their
when
run
you have.
game has been non-existent.
Yeah,
Their top rusher any game this year was no.
Yeah, he had like 100 yards, right? On like,
It was
Mike, week 1.
Oh yeah, no, Brees Hall. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong team.
Yeah, you're good. Anyways, it's just they needed to get the quarterback situation. In fact, I might even call Miami and be like, "Can we get Mike White back?"
Oh, you see that? I told you, hey, don't you take my Mike White from Miami just in case something happened. I'm not trying to throw it out there, but he was slinging it too. It was against backups, but
yeah, no shit. But enough of that. Now another good game. Green Bay coming back on the Saints. It was like once Carr went down, that offense just like halted.
Stuttered, yeah.
Just didn't do anything with Winston. Green Bay made a nice comeback, 18-17.
All 18 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep. It's I don't know. What was the report on Carr? He's gonna miss a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, AC joint. This is week to week.
He avoided major injury, they said.
Yeah.
Got lucky. His ass got bent over backwards, man.
Yeah, it was.
So enough with that. You don't really talk about that. They're in trouble now. another game we don't need to talk about too much. I don't think. Tennessee, Cleveland. Cleveland came to play. Tennessee didn't. Derrick Henry, I think that too was affecting him because he didn't do shit. At one point, didn't he have like -7 yards?
Yeah, it was -7 the first half. But it doesn't help when your quarterback had 96 yards through like the 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and it doesn't. Yeah, it's bad. Their offensive line sucks. But man, this Browns defense, I was listening earlier to a few of my sources that they're number one in every statistical defensive metric, rush and pass. They're number one in everything. And this defense is no joke. Like their front seven and their secondary is elite, and they're showing it the first 3 weeks. So,
well, we'll see. They play a big offense.
Yeah.
They play a big offense, yeah, correct.
I think last week they beat Pittsburgh. I don't know if they beat week 1.
Yeah, they played the Bengals week 1, Pittsburgh last week.
Yeah,
Titans this week. They play Baltimore this coming week, and then the 49ers.
Yeah, if they can handle Baltimore pretty well, if they can keep Baltimore, in check.
Yeah.
Then I will be glad to say, hey, okay, they're for reals. But I mean, he played a Burrow probably when his leg was at the worst. We'll see. But it's still, you still can't deny what they've been doing. And then Carolina, Seattle 37, Carolina 27. Seattle's defense, guys, has been giving up. They've been giving up some points. Geno Smith doesn't look like what he did last year. Luckily for them, they ran the shit out of the ball. Walker went over for 100. Charbonnet had a 9. He was 9 for I think like 46. So
Walker had 90. Walker had 97. Charbonnet was 9 for 46.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Seattle's that mediocre team right in the middle where they're going to beat teams like Carolina, but then they're going to play teams like even the Rams. The Rams beat them. They're going to play teams like that. 49ers, Green Bay, whatever, and I think they're going to end up losing those games.
Mm-hmm. You know who they remind me of? Minnesota. They're like the Minnesota Vikings of the West. That's what they remind me of.
Their defense is a little bit better.
A little better, but they're going to give it up regardless.
Yeah, I mean they're still really young defense, but they had a lot of returning starters. I mean, it should have been like they should have actually probably jumped up a notch. And I feel like they've actually come down a little bit.
Gone back.
But again, it's only week 3. I sound like I'm panicking on like a lot of these teams. And it's not so much like, oh, I'm out on them or whatever. It's just like by week 3, you start to see some identities of who teams really are. And Seattle so far hasn't done even a peak of showing anything outside of that. So
I would like to see them get JSN involved more. That you can't just draft this guy number 20 overall and let this talent just not do
clearly
anything.
they can because they're doing it.
I know it is disappointing. It really is.
Sometimes some teams they ease people in.
He's got 14 targets, 9 catches, and 57 yards through 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago 10.
Oh my gosh.
I do have something to say about this game. I was watching this game
Taylor Swift
until they booted it off. Until they booted it off TV. I understand KC has some things to work on, but they almost got Patrick Mahomes wrecked.
Yeah.
And rightly so. They shouldn't be doing what they were doing. Like, they were already up 30-0. 30.
Yep. That drive was going into the half. That was the last drive before half. Yeah.
Just try to get the field goal, and they're dropping him back, and he gets his ankle rolled up. He was in some pain. He was grabbing his knee for a second. It looked like, and I was like, oh shit, like what's going to go on here? But he ended up being okay. But this is one of those situations where it's like, okay, dude, you're up 30-0. Chicago's not going to do shit. They suck on offense. You pretty much have the game wrapped up in the first half. Don't take chances with your mega superstar quarterback who you will not win shit without. Kansas City will not win a fucking game without Mahomes.
Well, it's just like, did you see what Cincinnati did tonight right before halftime?
I did not. I didn't have a chance to watch.
So it's the same thing. They get sacked, and I don't know. There's 20-something seconds left. They're in field goal range already, and instead of trying to hurry up and go for a touchdown, they run it down to 3 seconds left. They spike it, and they kick the field goal. You're not risking the injury to your quarterback.
Yeah, but Mike, this is a totally different situation. You're talking about a game that's
they're getting their ass kicked. Yeah.
Kansas City was up 30-0. Like,
I understand, but it's the same concept.
No, it's not.
They did that in a game that it was a 3-point difference.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Cincinnati probably should have pushed the ball. Probably should have gone for the touchdown. In this instance, Kansas City they had no business trying to go for that touchdown at that point. Like, the game was pretty much like, I know a lot of people might disagree. I don't know. That if you were watching the game, you knew that game was locked up.
That game was over before it started.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying,
the momentum. There's no momentum for Chicago. They're dead. Yeah. Like, they were dead in the water. You can just see it.
Fields looks shitty, and I mean shitty.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's blaming his coaches, but yeah, he's throwing passes into the side of his lineman head.
That's the one thing that worries me. Like, he came out and said that he didn't actually say his coaches' play calling, but that reverts back to coaching, and that just shows me like I don't think he's as far as his performance, but like that's not a leader. As far as your quarterback, your franchise guy, that's something you would want to be like, okay, it's on me. I need to do better instead of taking like ownership of it, even if it's not his fault. Like, that's what you want to see. But the fact that he said that is kind of like, now I have pushback on him. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like the Zach Wilson situation of last year. That's an easy way to lose a locker room. And once you lose locker rooms and teammates, like, it's done. So, if Fields can't show improvement this year, I think he's done. I think he's gone. Like, not gone, but if I'm Chicago, I'm drafting a quarterback next year for this shit. Like,
they have the picks to move up too if they want.
What picks? They're not going to need the picks.
That's true. Yeah.
They might be fighting for the number 1 overall pick. They may not have to trade shit, because the next game we're about to talk about was the team originally thought was going to have one pick, and that is the Cardinals upsetting Dallas 28-16. Now, I did watch the second half of this game when the KC and Chicago game was off, and I got to say, Dallas was playing as if they were just gonna just win, like, without even having to try, and they didn't really start going into panic mode until Arizona went up, 28-16, and then they were like, oh shit, we might lose. And I gotta say, that interception that Dak threw at the end of the game,
it's horrible,
was one of the most Dak-like things you can see. He just, throw the fucking ball away.
Yeah, throw it out of the end zone.
Run it. Do something, but don't throw it where 3 guys are. But I will say this, the drive before that where they had to kick a field goal, there was PI missed in the end zone big time. That corner. Now the DB, he did look back, but then he turned his head back around, put his arms up, and his helmet went straight into the chest. It should have been PI. The refs definitely missed it. It would have been an opportunity for a touchdown instead of 3 points. There was another time too. I'm trying to remember. Dallas went for it like on 4th down instead of taking points, and they didn't get it.
I mean, I might be a little worried. I know it's week 3, but if we rewind back, was it week 1 they played the Jets, right?
Week one they played
Giants, 40-0.
Okay,
Giants,
so now
40-0.
that game started off turnovers on special teams, pick sixes. The defense was out like 21 points or whatever. Offense didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was go out there and just sustain some drives and score. Jets had no quarterback.
Yeah, last week they're playing Zach Wilson.
They turned them over a few times, got a couple of defensive scores, special teams, had some good returns, put some good field for Dak. But now, I mean, this game, they didn't have the good field position. They had 0 turnovers. Arizona did not turn the ball over. Josh Dobbs played decent enough to get the drives sustainable and to sustain them and score. They were getting either field goals or touchdowns almost like every other possession. So the fact that they didn't turn them over, the defense, and they were giving up all these big chunk plays on the ground. Now Dak has to go in there and lead drives, and we all know what Dak is consistently his whole career. He's not going to be able to lead the 80, 90-yard drive for a touchdown. There's going to be a fuck up there where he's going to throw a pick, he's going to fumble, something's going to happen. And so this kind of gets me worried a little bit, especially with that Niner game coming up week 5. That's a little worrisome.
Yeah, that is true, Matt. That I did hear the same thing about that. How the first 2 weeks Dallas was constantly being put in these short fields, and Arizona didn't give them that opportunity this time. Everything was like they had to really earn their points, and the offense just looked like
Mike McCarthy's offense got exposed this game.
Yeah,
because he's calling plays now. So
yeah, and you're right. So who do you guys know who they have next week?
Patriots.
Patriots, yeah.
Patriots, dude. I'll tell you what, Bill Belichick defense, they're up for you. So we're gonna see if Dallas does not come out and play well against the Patriots and they lose that game, you might be looking at a team that ends up going 2-3, because if you can't beat the Patriots and you can't beat the Cardinals, you sure in the fuck aren't gonna beat the 49ers.
Well, so they got Niners and then Chargers after that.
They can beat the Chargers. Chargers don't have their defense been kind of ass. The defense is stop. I mean,
and I just can't like Josh Dobbs. This guy was from Cleveland, right? And I think before he got traded,
he was putting in Amazon
applications. He was putting in
applications at Amazon
to be a driver, and that's who beat the Cowboys this week.
Don't forget what Kurt Warner was doing before he was in the NFL.
Bagging groceries.
And he's only been in this system for a month, and I mean, it's not a good look for the Cowboys. This guy's only been in the system for a month.
But I will say this: there is a lot of times in the NFL where good teams, they just whatever happens, you still have to remember, no matter how bad the team is on the other side that you're playing, you're still playing a group of professional football players. They're still some of the best at what they do, regardless. You just happen to have a better group of professionals.
Hey, but Jimmy G threw a touchdown.
Yeah. But anyways, move on to that. Pittsburgh Raiders, dude. I actually thought the Raiders might upset this game. I picked them in my pick'em. I thought it was a good opportunity for them. Devontae Adams, of course, got his like he always does. But dude,
monster game.
You guys just fucking find a way to lose.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but Jimmy G, there's some plays he does look better than Carr rolling out, stepping up in the pocket. I'll give him that. But when you give him this team, like you said, you don't give him that Niner defense not to manage it, and he's behind. It's going to do the same shit, throw picks, and same thing. It happened, man. You're behind. You got to lead this team back with not a very good defense to stop the offense on the other side of the ball.
That pick, Matt, you and I talked about it earlier. That pick at the end of the game was horrible.
He's like, let me just throw this shit and just see what happens.
Jimmy G is Jimmy Prescott. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Jimmy Carr?
Jimmy Prescott.
No.
They make the same mistakes at the same time in the game. It's never like
crucial points.
Yeah, it's just like. And by the way, why didn't you guys go for that touchdown?
Oh, instead of the field goal? Ask Josh McDaniels that. I would have went for it.
Yeah, I would have gone for it too. Like, dude, I don't know. Look, I'm gonna say it like this: if I was a Raiders fan, dude, I would be boycotting by now. You guys have been bad for like 20 years.
Look at that stat: 7 turnovers, no takeaways this season.
You're not gonna win.
Not gonna win games.
No, and it's not like your guys' schedule gets any easier.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Matt, what did Adam say during his interview last night?
Oh, he's gone. I've been telling everybody, even CP don't want to believe it. This guy's gone. Once week 1 started and this whole quarterback situation, you know how he wanted to be part of the quarterback choosing for the Raiders, and they didn't let him in on the process to select the quarterback he wanted, and they brought in Jimmy G. He went on the whole before Twitter's X became X. He went on there saying that, oh, you know, you don't call me all offseason, all this bullshit, and he deleted it. He said yesterday, he's like, you know, I don't have time for this. The losing, it's bad. He does not want to be there, and he's showing it.
Yeah.
If this continues, is McDaniel's gone this year?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Should have been gone.
He should have been gone already.
If Adams is traded, build this, fucking burn it down to the ground. Everything, burn it down to the ground.
Jacobs is gone next year.
I agree with Matt.
Might as well trade him and see what you can get too.
At this point, I am. I'm at the end of the. Well, obviously, you're going to need to trade Adams. I would trade everyone during the season. At the end of the season, I would tell McDaniels, "Thank you, but we're going to go in a different direction."
Mm-hmm.
And bring a coach in, maybe a young new coach.
Yeah,
a young new coach.
Gruden. Some excitement.
Give him a group, just an abundance of picks, and be like, build us a team. Give them 3 years, because that's what it's going to take. You won't know what you have with this new coach, and when he's given an opportunity to completely structure a team how he wants for a minimum of 3 years. You got to let some of these picks develop. You got to give him a quarterback. You're going to have to give him some weapons. You got to start with the defense. But you guys, it's so weird because you guys are always in rebuild mode, but you guys are always like going and signing these veterans, and it's just like, that's not a rebuild.
And overpaying for them, like Chandler Jones.
Yeah. So here's my question: if you do that, Matt, you probably know the most about coaches out of the 3 of us. Who would you think would be a good candidate?
Well, Sirianni's not leaving Philly. You would honestly, I don't know. I have no clue. I would want an offensive mind. Like Shane Steichen just signed with the Colts, but none of those guys are leaving. You would have to look at offense coordinators around the league.
Yeah.
Not head coaches. Who's hot?
Yeah, you're not gonna pull a head coach from somewhere else for sure.
I would take like a disciple from like Sean McVay or Kevin O'Connell, like, you know, that's learning under them, you know, kind of like developing under that system to bring them in. But
definitely someone Sean McVay.
The tree. Yeah.
He might be the coach of the Rams, but there is something about McVay that you just like. You like his style, who he is, and a lot of people have had success after leaving him. So I would agree with that. But enough with this. You know, Niners.
Last game of the
Niners beat the Giants.
Cowboys fans were talking shit, saying how we gave up points and only scored 30. Cowboys beat them 40-0.
But I would say that first half, the Giants played you guys good on defense. I'm not gonna lie. The score was 30-12, but I like the way they played defense against you guys, and it was the right way to play it. I mean, bump and run coverage, cover the slants, let Brock Purdy beat you deep. But the weird thing was, like, they got you guys at 3rd and 12. They play off man and they throw a screen and you guys get 15-yard first down. I was like, wow, that defeats the purpose for doing that defense. But
yeah, and well,
you guys look good though. You guys look good.
They did a lot of zero blitzes, and I think they were trying, and I think they were hoping that Brock Purdy was going to make some mistakes. At the beginning of the game, he didn't look good. I was a little bit nervous, man. Those within like the first 10 passes, 2 of them should have been picked off. George Kittle saved a pick, and I was kind of like, "What the hell's going on with Purdy, man?" And he turned it around, and he ended up being 20 for 31 on 3rd downs, or I'm sorry, on blitzes. He ended up being 20 for 31 against the
they blitzed him on what, like 87% of the snaps of his dropbacks.
So he ended up being 20 for 31 for like, I don't know, like 200 something yards and 2 touchdowns. That's what you want to see, because the Giants obviously thought they saw something on tape, tried something a little different. But the funniest thing about this game was the interviews after the game where a bunch of Niner defensive players were like, yeah, Daniel Jones sucks. They all said the same thing. He's scared. They're like, we could look at his face and he was scared. He didn't want to throw the ball nowhere. He was scared to stand in the pocket. And they were like, I don't know who it was. They kept the player unanimous, but they said, why did they give him $40 million?
Yeah,
We all said
that
it.
was a mistake. Yeah.
We all said it.
But I don't blame it. I honestly think he could be an average quarterback. He could be like a Jimmy G. I just feel bad that they gave him that money, but he has 0 weapons. Outside of Darren Waller, who's a little older, there's no wide receivers there I would have wanted to throw to.
Yeah, but I disagree with that because if you're going to demand $40 million a year, you better be able to carry a team, weapons or no weapons. Don't come in here saying I need all this money because that's what I'm worth. Well,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a few games, yeah, you would have to carry your team, but I mean, you can't do it consistently without the weapons. Though.
Well, congratulations!
I know what you mean.
You demanded that money. Now you took the money to be able to get you weapons.
Yeah, that's true. I see what you're saying, Scott. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so,
there's been 0 carry from him. He's bad. Yeah,
didn't score any points for the first 6 quarters of the season.
Yeah.
And half of that was against the Cardinals. Like 2 quarters of that was against the Cardinals. Now, they did come back and he had a great second half against Arizona. But, dude, you cannot keeping your team like down like that. They don't have the defense to do it, So I don't know. It's just I really feel like the Giants are going to regret giving him that big contract. He's just not the guy. Like, I get it. You guys made the playoffs last year. What do you fucking do?
But that doesn't
not happening this year.
$40 million. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. And then on top of that, now I want to talk about something real quick because it has to do with Saquon. One of the things that we talked about was like, why are they not signing Saquon? And it's like when he's on the field, the dude is a monster. But the problem is that he misses so many games. He's always hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And and now I'm starting.
He's the Mike Trout of football.
Mike Trout of football. Yeah. That's a good analogy. But yeah, he's always banged up. He's always hurt. Don't you find it weird? Some of the big names that were in that chat. Jonathan Taylor, he's not playing.
The running backs. Mm-hmm.
Austin Eckler, he's hurt. He was the main one that put the group together. Well, we all have to get paid. Josh Jacobs finished a game with negative yards. And in fact, I don't know if he even has 100 yards on the season through 3 games. And he has the carries to do it.
He doesn't.
Saquon Barkley's hurt. So, yes, I do believe that running back should be paid more.
Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Nick Chubb. But, dude, it's like you guys are all.
Yeah, you can't. Nick Chubb, I wouldn't really classify him as part of that. I mean, that.
Yeah. I understand it can happen to anybody, but I think more so at the running back position, that position you are getting hit violently every touch, not just by cornerbacks. A wide receiver catches a 10, 15-yard pass. They're getting tackled by corners, most likely, or safeties, right?
Yeah.
As a running back, you're running between your linemen and 300-plus pound men on the line, plus linebackers and safeties coming full speed to take you down.
Yeah,
that's where I kind of like, okay, I understand the brutal position, the brutal part of running back is, I mean, it's brutal, man. And these injuries, they can happen.
They have the shortest lifespan.
Yeah, and I understand why they want to get paid, but I understand organizations why they don't want to pay them. So it's like a yin and the yang thing,
Yeah, most definitely. But so that'll wrap it up, you guys. That's gonna wrap it up.
I got a question for both of you guys.
No, the answer's no.
What is it?
Biggest upset of the week: Colts over the Ravens, Texans over Jaguars, or Cardinals over Cowboys, and why?
Cardinals.
Cowboys.
Cardinals, because number one, everyone's talking about the Cowboys
Super Bowl.
Cardinals number 1 pick. It didn't happen. I mean, I think the Texans and the Jaguars are pretty close second, but the fact, and it wasn't just the fact that Dallas lost to Arizona, they straight up got beat by Arizona. There was no like, oh man, I mean, it could have gone this way, it could have gone that way. They straight up got beat by Arizona. No ifs, ands, our butts about it.
Don't forget, they also just lost Trayvon Diggs.
I know, but you're still playing the Cardinals.
No, I know.
You know, outside of Marquise Brown, there's no wide receivers. You got a quarterback who's just barely like he's a nobody in the NFL. You got ran all over by James Conner. Like you got a Cardinals defense with a bunch of nobodies, you know, holding you in the red zone, which I will say, dude, the red zone play calling was shit. I don't know what the fuck they were trying to call in the red zone, but
Yeah.
they had to figure that out. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I would say
extensions for Shanahan and Lynch.
yeah. And they deservedly so. But all right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude week 3 of the NFL recap. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. I probably missed it. I always miss it if you're still watching the video by now. But anyways, appreciate y'all. See you guys next week.
Hey, Matt, drop your players too from the Survival League.
Kiss my ass.